I'm Dr. Bly. There's no mystery. So I'm going to do a little review about where to find things, what's expectations in the lecture, and then we'll do the lab also. And then before we're finished, I want to get chapter 1 lecture done. Okay. I think the best way to do this, is everybody familiar with Brightspace, how to get into the course, and have you been in and looked around? Okay. You got any major obstacles or questions that need to be answered? Okay. So I'm sharing the homepage right now for Brightspace, and then I'm going to go into the course. And since you already know your way around, I'm just going to point out important modules that are in there, right? So you don't waste your time looking around trying to find stuff. And as often as not, I find mistakes while I'm doing that anyway. Okay, so let's see. Everybody's got a copy of everything. There, the last 4 handouts on that list, this side, are extra credit. So we'll talk about the extra credit too. There usually aren't that many extra credits, separate projects through the semester, but for this first exam period, those come in.
Sorry.
Yeah, sign in and then grab one of each of those. You probably want to find a seat first and unload before you start picking that stuff up. Is your pen working?
Yeah, it's new, and I forgot to take the thing off there.
Yeah. On the sign-in sheet, red's okay. But when you take an exam, don't use red. That's my favorite color. Okay, so here I've shared the main screen, and all you have to do to find the course is go to this little waffle. You see that? It's bigger on my laptop than it is up there. So I'll move it around. Find that waffle, and you can find any course that you're signed into. So we'll go to this one. That's the lecture. And first thing I'll point out is on this landing page, you do have a tutoring service offered by Barry Pine. I don't know if you've used his services or not, chemistry and physical sciences. And he does all this by Zoom. So those are his hours, Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays, those times. And his Zoom ID is down here. So does everybody know how to start a Zoom session with just the ID? Okay. You need the Zoom link. And that would be, I guess I might have to go back to show you that one. Oh, no, I won't. Let's see. Here we go. Right. Is everybody familiar with our portal? Right. Once you get into the portal, then you click on Zoom. Okay. Go to Zoom, and you should be able to do one of two things: either join a meeting that's already scheduled, right, like this, or you should be able to let's see, am I covering something up? Now, schedule a meeting, join a meeting right up here. Click on that join a meeting, and then you put in that ID, and he'll be zoomed in during those times, and you can join in that way if you need the extra help. Of course, that's my business too. I mean, I have office hours, and we'll talk about that in a minute also. Okay, so let me go back over to, let me get this thing out of my way. All right. There it is. There's our home page. Okay. So this is called the mini bar up here, and there are some are more useful than others. Right. Let's start from the left. Assignments. In the lecture course, the only assignments you'll have are, and I'm in here as a, let me change to student. Otherwise, you're going to see a lot of garbage that won't show up on on your page when you do it. Okay, now assignments. And the assignments for this are going to be the extra credits. Those are the only assignments that'll show up there. Might as well talk about it now. One of them is getting to know the periodic table. And that assignment is one which gives you practice learning the elements. So you have a blank sheet and you fill it out according to these instructions. Okay? And they're up to 407 points. So when you finish it, be sure to names on it and turn this sheet in too. Okay? This is extra credit. And because I use this sheet for grading purposes. Okay? That's one extra credit. Now, when you're memorizing the symbols for the elements, you don't have to memorize the entire periodic table, only about half of it. And this that you picked up tells you which ones I want you to memorize in the red boxes. So most of them are up here toward the top. Those that are in the red boxes, I want you to memorize those symbols. So if I say magnesium, you'll write down capital M, little g. Or if I say aluminum, you know to write a capital A, little l. Okay. Okay, we'll talk about that again later, a little more later. About my office hours, while I'm here, these that are in the red, those are my office hours. So anytime you see this kind of block, for these three on the right, I'll be in my office and Zooming at the same time. The one on the left, I do late. So I Zoom that from home and I'm not here on campus. But you can get me anytime, any of these blocks Zoom. And if you need it other times, right, we can set up special Zoom sessions if you those are just to satisfy me. We have to have 10 office hours, so that's what I do. If you're going to make a special trip and come by the campus, if you're already here, you can check my office. I'm in R129. So this is 134 and it goes backwards that direction. So just look down the hallway on the right till you find 129. That's me. Where was I going? Well, let's start with something new there. Okay, so those are assignments. Class list, that's a good one. This tells you who's in the class, and it also gives you the opportunity to email individuals in the class or the whole class together if you want, or just email me. All you have to do is click. You just click on next to the name and then go up here to email. And you can send an email without having to sift through the whole directory. You can't receive emails here, but you can send them. And this is the way I'll send notices to the class. I'll just click on here and just say, everybody gets this email, and I'll send out any changes that occur. I'll do it this way. So it's a good idea to check your email at least once a day. And this is the New River email. Okay. I find it convenient to, on my email client, I just put that one in my client, and if somebody sends me an email, bam, it's right there. Okay, so that's a good location. We'll come back to content. Let's see, course 2 discussions. We don't have any discussions in here, like discussion groups or anything like that. There's just too much to do. Grades. This is where you go to find your grades. Right now it should be blank, right? Those are all the positions that'll have grades. When you get down to these reviews, these are quizzes that are in Brightspace, and you can go in and just take them like they're regular tests and drill them. They'll grade them for you, show you where you're weak. You can go back and work on those weak spots. I don't see any of these grades. Well, maybe I see them, but I don't use them in your average. Okay, so you can drill them as often as you want. There's extra credits. There's the homework. We'll talk about the homework in a minute. And These exams, they're set up so that I can offer them in Brightspace using Respondus Monitor and Lockdown Browser. But I'd prefer that you come in person. Only if you've got COVID or something like that and you have to go from home, then this is available. But you have to let me know so that I can open it up for you. Now this one, the current status, that's your average. I don't let Brightspace do my course averaging for me because it's just way too clunky. It doesn't allow me flexibility to do what I want to with your scores to give you what I think is an accurate representation of where you stand in the class. So I put this extra one in here, and if any other average score shows up anywhere, like down here at the bottom, oh, that's good. It's not there. Okay, so never mind. Current status, that's the one you look for. And if you've got a grade on anything down here below, it is averaged into this current status. If you've turned something in and the grade's not there, then that grade hasn't been averaged in and the current status is absent that exercise or whatever you've turned in. Okay. I do those manually. I do them in an Excel spreadsheet and then I manually put them in. Quizzes. Okay. You won't see anything here. Well, you shouldn't see anything here. I don't know why they're showing up, except for the reviews. They will show up here. But I need to do something about that because they're not supposed to be there. Okay. And this is another Zoom link. You can also Zoom from within the course content itself, and that's where the content leads you. That's awful small. Let me see if I can blow it up some. That's a little better. So everything begins at start here. If you've got, if all of the modules, all the tabs are open, just go collapse all, and that makes it a little easier to scroll through them. There's Kathy. Okay. Marker present. If you have to zoom in, then I'll see you there and mark you present. That's important for this class because I give you credit for showing up. 10% of your grade is just being here or being there. Let's see. We don't need to do all these. All right, let's take them one in order. Cengage OWL homework. This is, you click on this one, and this is your contact, John Sayall. If you need to contact a person during the semester, then that's your point of contact. There's his information. If, on the other hand, in the first month, they have set up special office hours with tech support. Right. So let's go down to this office hours for troubleshooting. These are their office hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 12 noon till 2 p.m. And there's the connection. You just click on that connection right there. And it'll take you to the Zoom session during that time period. And they can help you with any issues you have. But to get registered, first of all, you have to purchase Cengage Unlimited. Has everybody done that yet? Okay. Once you have Cengage Unlimited, then you go in from within Brightspace. That way, Cengage recognizes you when you start to register. It sees that you're coming from the course, right? And it shouldn't ask you for anything else. If it does, then there's probably a code or something that came. Did you get a code with your purchase? Okay. In that case, it should recognize you. And that's the type of thing that those office hours are for. If you can't get registered, then go to the office hours and they'll fix it. Okay, so you just go there and then signing in. So you put your email in and sign in. This is probably not going to work right because I'm a student. I'm not a student. But maybe it'll let me in. Hi, sign in.
Sorry, I'm late.
First day, that's understandable. All right, so it didn't let me in because I'm not a student. Let's see, I want to go backwards. Go backwards again. Come on.
So it's something limited but to access all the homework and assignments. And
Yes.
the textbook.
Yes, there's an electronic version of the textbook also, and I've got a special link for that one. So you don't have to go into the homework to find it. You can go to it from the homework, but I put in a special link for the let's see, what do they call it? Yeah, they got a special link. Let's go back over here. Okay. Yeah. Now, if you like the feel of paper, right, you're welcome to buy a hard copy. Right? They will send you a hard copy for shipping costs that'll last for the semester, or you can buy a used copy, either the current edition or one previous edition will still work, and it'll be a whole lot cheaper if you just like the feel of paper and you like to scribble on the pages. That's fine. Anything that is any documents that are in Brightspace that you need to gain access to, such as any one of these, are in Brightspace. So if your dog eats your homework, you can get another copy. Right? But it'll always be PDF version. So you need a PDF reader. If you don't already have a PDF reader on your computer, then this is I set this up, these free PDF readers. Adobe Acrobat, right? They'll give you a free reader. Foxbit will also work. And then here's the syllabus. Right? There's a copy of the syllabus right there. You can download it. I mean, if you lose that one, this is where you, and you'll notice this semester, has anyone been here before, previous semester? Or is this your first semester? Okay, so you don't have anything to compare it to. They've changed the format for the syllabus, hopefully for the better. But we'll go over that in just a minute. In the syllabus module, you'll find the syllabus, you'll find my schedule, which is that document on the first down there. Okay, same thing. And then the last one is, let's see, what is it? Oh, this is a link to my office hours. This will take you directly to my Zoom session during those office hours. Right, so all you have to do is go in here and click that link. And it shouldn't be nothing there because I'm not there. So we won't go any further with that one. Just close that. Okay, so let's go back and notice lots of times there are breadcrumbs up here at the top if you hadn't noticed before. So you can go back selectively how far back you want to go. All right, so we got down to the syllabus. I've got a separate class schedule in here so you don't have to dig out the syllabus and look for it. All right, this is the class schedule. And this is a good place to talk about it. This includes the Zoom ID and the passcode. Now for my personal Zoom sessions, when you need office hours and help there's no passcode, right? But you either probably have to cut and paste this one right here. If you want to use this link, that'll take you in and automatically input the passcode. If you go from, say, your cell phone at some remote location and you can't get access to this, then you would do it the way we talked about before and put in the ID, and then it'll ask you for a passcode, and there it is. Okay, so here we have the dates, the important dates. These that are grayed out are not meeting dates. They're just important dates. But the Tuesdays and Thursdays are all in here, and what we're going to be doing on each one of those days, lectures, these first two meetings, then we'll have a review session, then we'll have an exam, okay, on chapters 1 and 2. To the right of that, these are the topics that are covered in each one of the lectures. And I built in some buffer days too, because if I run a little long, then we have access to extra time if we need it. And I believe we have how many exams? 7 exams, chapter exams and 1 final. I'm not sure about that final date. If they change the final date on us, we'll have to deal with that later, because they put out a final exam schedule. I don't know why. I mean, we've already got this date established. Why don't we just meet on the same day, right? That's my philosophy. But that pattern is the same all the way through. We have chapters that are in that exam. For the first exam, the chapters 1 and 2. So we'll have a lecture on chapter 1, then the next time we meet chapter 2, then we'll have a review session. All right, so the review session is based upon this review document. And when I give the lectures, you've got hard copies of the PowerPoints. You can scribble on them if you want. This is the review document, right? It's pretty hefty. It's set up to look exactly like an exam. So you can use it. I've had students use it as an exam to go through and just work it. And then go back, and the key is in bright space. I'm afraid to print out the key because of doing this much printing would probably break the printer. But we'll use this as a basis. And during the review session, I've got some of these picked out, and there's lots of duplication. So I just pick out the ones that are unique, and we use those for the review session. If you work these problems and you're short on time, I would advise just doing every other one. Get all the way to the end, so you get exposed to every concept in the material. Then if you have time, you go back and get the others. If you don't understand why you're getting any one of them wrong, and it's before the review session when you can ask me in person, then that's what this is for. This work problems. I took every one of those work problems and worked them out by hand. So you can go in and say, okay, I got that one wrong. Let me see. I don't understand. Let me look and see how the instructor did it. Maybe a light bulb. Come on. And if you still can't get it, bring those problems to class. And we'll do those first before I talk about anything else. We'll iron out your individual problems. Because if you're having a problem with something, more than likely somebody else in the class is having the same problem. Okay. I didn't mention the crosswords. These are extra credits, crossword puzzles. And everybody likes crosswords. This is the first semester I'm trying it in this class. So you just fill in the words that satisfy the conditions for across and down. And extra credit. That helps you learn the vocabulary for that chapter. Okay. That's the goal, right? All this is just tactics, how you get to the understanding part of the material in each chapter. Because chemistry is a cumulative science, like many of them are. You build upon what you've learned before. And if you're weak on previous chapters, the way we've structured the course, then the latter chapters are going to give you trouble. Right? So you have to have a minimum understanding of prior material before current material makes sense. Okay, so any questions about the structure? Maybe when you sit down and look at it, you might see things that confuse you. All right, come on, there we go. All right, so that was the syllabus, class schedule. My contact information is also in the syllabus. I've included my office phone. If you call my office phone and don't find me there, leave a message. The system is set up so that it will convert that message into a voice file and email me. So I'll get your voice message on my email and I can return your call. But if you need something really quick, my cell phone is in there too. The best way to get me on my cell phone is text. Because I might be doing something else, might be driving, right? I generally don't answer the phone, voice phones anywhere, because they all have caller ID, and I check the ID to see if I don't recognize you, then I'm not going to answer it. Okay. Practice and orientation for. These are just additional links to information that Cengage gives us for completing homework assignments. That one's completing assignments. CHEM101. CHEM101 is the tool that they use in case you need to draw, right? If you have to draw a structure, say, a molecular structure to answer a question, CHEM101 is the way you do it. I don't have too many of those, and I kind of shy away from it because half the time it doesn't work anyway. Let's see. Readers and practice. There's your ebook. Okay. So you click on that and it'll take you to the book. The nice thing about ebooks is you can search them. There's some supplemental documents. I'm not sure what's in here. These, you'll all get these in handouts. Yeah. So those are just for your curiosity if you want them. Here's where you can go to the Zoom class meeting. Just click on that and go here. Or you can go from the portal to the Zoom and go in that way. So there are multiple ways to get where you need to go. Okay, then each one of these modules, module 1 is exam 1, module 2, exam 2. So module 1 will have everything in it that we're covering in for the first exam. Objectives, you can read those if you want. These are previous recordings, right? So back in January, when I taught this course, there's the intro and chapter 1 lecture. Then there's a copy of Learn These Element Symbols, just like I handed out. Then there's lecture for chapter 2. And there's extra credit, getting to know your periodic table, 50 ways to name your compound. Right? That's an extra credit too. Okay. You won't know how to name a compound yet because we haven't covered it. Right? But once you get the rules, then this is another way to drill yourself in naming compounds and get some extra credit while you're at it. There's your crossword extra credits. Okay. If you complete any assignment, extra credit or tests otherwise, you only have to, if you hand them in class, you don't have to submit them online. Right? I have the ability for you to submit them online. Say if you forget to bring it to class, then you can sign it. You can submit it in here. Like if we click on that crossword, then you go down here and there's where you upload it. Upload your document. So you have to be able to either scan it if you have a scanner at home, or take a picture, and you can upload your answers there. In person is better, but we have that ability then. Okay, back to module 1. All right, I'm taking too much time, as usual. Okay, so what else are you going to see in here? Review documents. So those are all the review documents that I handed out, including the key. So there's the key right there. Right. If you want to use the review document to drill yourself like you would a test, then that's where the answers are. There's another copy of the work problems. Here's a review, right? So I've recorded the review back in January when the course. Here's a link to your homework. So once you're registered with Cengage in your homework, then you can go, as you're in each chapter, you can go here and just click on that. And it'll take you straight to that chapter homework. You don't have to drill through Cengage website to find the homework. There it is, chapters 1 and 2. EOC means end of chapter. So they extracted the end of chapter questions from the current edition and put those into homework. And then allowed me, and I only selected some of them. I mean, I didn't put the whole the whole end of chapter. That would be ridiculous. Then I've got archived videos from ancient times, right? If you want to look at them, fine. The further back you go, the worse the quality gets. Practice tests, right? These are the review tests that I showed you earlier, right? If you want to drill those in the bright space environment, then you can do that. But we're going to be doing reviews from that document. This is just if you have the time and you want extra drill. If you like doing end of chapter problems in your textbook, then these are the solutions. Chapter 1, Chapter 2. I'm not sure what edition. It might be a previous edition to the one we're in, so the numbering might be a little off. And then this shouldn't be showing here until I give you permission, but if you get permission to take the exam in Brightspace, then you're going to need a web camera or a laptop. They're built-in cameras anyway. And you have to go through the steps. Has anybody taken exams on a Respondus lockdown browser? Okay. It's not that bad. It's just.
I have.
You have?
I did last semester.
Okay.
It's actually pretty nice because it's just you and the questions, and you don't have to worry about anybody around you, and it's fairly secure.
Okay, that was Kathy talk. So you're going to need to install something the first time you do it. Okay, good. It's not going to let me in. That's good news. What it'll do is at the bottom of the page, once that opens, the bottom of the page, it has an installation link, and you have to install Lockdown Browser, and you do it from that link. You only have to do it once or whenever there's an update. Okay, any questions so far? Every module is the same, except for the final. And the final won't have quite as much in it. We just have review for the final. We have archive videos, and then, by the way, if you do get permission to use Respondus version of an exam, there will also be a file in that same folder, useful information. That's stuff that you don't have to memorize. I'll show it to you. It's before you start the exam, you need to make a copy of that so you'll have it with you, because once you start the lockdown browser, it won't give you access to it. Okay, so when you in your review documents, okay, what you'll see is all those questions, and then when you get toward the back, you reach a section that says useful information. You know, that stuff could be several pages. This stuff, that stuff, you have a periodic table. If that useful information is in the review document, it will be on the exam. Right? So you just need to learn how to find the information in here. I mean, if you do enough of these problems over and over, you'll memorize it anyway. But it's there sort of as a crutch. Okay. Stop me anytime. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking. All right. So that takes us to the final exam. Yeah. And the rest of this stuff is built in from the college. They put that in there. All right. So that's Brightspace. And let's see if I missed anything else. I'll tell you what. Let me, rather than reference this, let me talk about the syllabus and some of the other things that are in the syllabus. Yeah. I've already mentioned some of this stuff on the first page. My contact information is there. These initial statements are built in. They're college mandated. There's your required textbook, right there. Learning outcomes and all that. Okay, here's the next important thing is the grading system, grading scale. All right, so I work on a 10-point scale. Right, if you get a 90 on any exercise, it's an A. If you get a 90 average at the end of the semester, it's an A. All the chapter exams averaged together are worth 57% of your grade. Final exam is worth 13, which is basically 2 chapter exams. 20% for the homework, Right? So all your homework exercises, those grades are averaged together for 20%, and then you get 10% for attendance and participation. Extra credit is on top of that. I can't recall exactly what the scale is, but it's pretty substantial. I think the crosswords, average all the crosswords together, that's worth an exam grade. The other two, I believe those averaged together are worth half an exam. Yeah, I believe that's it. So a quarter exam each. And those are on top. Those are on top of everything. So you really can't lose by trying it. Okay, let's see. It's mandated stuff. That's mandated stuff. Okay. We talked about regular exams. I'm on page 6. Regular exams, homework. I'll emphasize that you have to complete registration for your homework from within Brightspace. The system should recognize you when you go to Cengage. And when you complete a homework assignment, the grade is linked into Brightspace gradebook. So if it's working, the grade will be there for me. If it's not, I have to go into Cengage and download them anyway. But the one thing it does tell me is that if I see a grade in Brightspace, I know that you've completed it without having to go to Cengage and look at it. That tells me that you've got your on time. Attendance and participation, I mentioned that. Bonus, extra credit. Okay, these assignments are extra credit, but exams, except for the first one, the first exam has no bonus questions in it because this is essential material. You got to know that or you'll be lost. But beginning with exam 2, I usually have bonus questions in there. So they count as bonuses for that exam. It's possible to get more than 100% on an exam. So, and it's clearly marked which ones are bonus and which ones are required. And the number of points for the required is the denominator. And the number that you get right is in the numerator, right? Okay. So the denominator is fixed, and you can get, if you get all the required ones, which would be equal to the denominator plus the bonus, then the numerator is bigger than the denominator, and that's greater than 100%, right? Okay. Let's see. Makeup testing is possible. Shouldn't be necessary, but life does happen. I've got another statement in here. We've just been bouncing among the faculty, bouncing around the idea of what do you do about artificial intelligence? Right? Students are going to figure that out. And at least for essay type courses like English and history and those types, artificial intelligence services like GPT, okay. See, I've never used them. I just heard about them. Sometimes they can do a pretty good job of imitating student essays, right? Not always. I've heard of horror stories where they just make stuff up, right? In fact, I've heard that there's the psychologists have had to come up with some type of a diagnosis for artificial intelligence when it goes psycho, because it will do that. So in this course, rather than just say no artificial intelligence allowed, right? That would be stupid because, right, students are going to do what students are going to do. When you use it, if you use it for draft purposes only, right? To organize all the information that you're putting in. And then you better go back and read it and be sure it makes sense and covers all the points, right? Because your grade depends on it. Right? So if you do use it, not that you will, but if you do, don't trust it, okay? It's not so much in the lecture course in 101, but 103 where you have to write lab reports, right? It could be useful. And we'll talk about that when we get to the lab discussion. Attendance policy. I understand life happens, you get sick, one of your kids gets sick, or you have some other obligation, right, that you have to miss a class. If you are able to show up on Zoom and we don't have a lab schedule, right, you can't Zoom the lab, then I can count you present. But if you just don't show up, then you're absent. Right? New River College has its policy, but I have my policy, and there are no excused absences because you get 10% credit for showing up. So don't abuse the absences, at least in the beginning of the semester, because you may need them later. Let's see. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes in grading. I make mistakes in the exams. One time I handed out the exam for the wrong course. The student caught it. But if you say, for instance, you take an exam, and my policy is when you're face to face, I'll grade the exam before you leave the room, so you'll know what your grade is before you move on to the next chapters. But if later on, or even while you're here, if you see that I've graded something wrong that you thought was right, bring it to me. Maybe I made a mistake. Okay. Well, I'm come across multiple choice questions that I put in there. When I got to thinking about it, this could be one or either of those answers. Could be two answers. So either I fix it, or I accept either one of those answers. Exam etiquette. Everybody knows how to be courteous to everybody else, right? Put a chair between you and the other person. Avoid nervous habits like tapping on the table. If your eyes get tired, look at the ceiling, right, or look down. Right. Don't make me think you're cheating. Right. The only materials you need during the exam are, you can have scratch paper. I put a lot of extra space in the exam, so you can scribble on the page too. In fact, it's a good idea. If you've got a problem to work out, it requires calculations, and you work it out before you select the multiple choice answer. And I see your work over there, and if the multiple choice was wrong, but your answer was, you're pretty close, right? I might choose to give you partial credit. All right. I'm not saying that anybody in here is going to try to cheat, but I've had students try to cheat. And rather than go through the long and drawn out process, the litigious, go to the dean, all that garbage, my first response to suspected cheating is, next time I give you an exam, you won't pass it. You'll get a special exam, and everybody else will get a different one. I mean, I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but that's just the way I deal with cheating. Now, if I give you, it just occurred to me this morning, if I suspect you of cheating and I give you a special exam and you ace that one too, then you probably weren't cheating, and I owe you an apology. Okay. Embarrassing, but I can do it. Let's see. Communication outside of class, we talked about that. Everything is recorded, plus I have office hours, plus we can schedule special Zoom sessions. That's not an issue. Oh, I do give a way to connect, right, without hitting that special link that takes you directly to my office hours. You can also connect here using this method. Then I've got a couple of appendices. Appendix 1 is how to register and do the homework. And so you can read that at your leisure. Appendix 2 is for those that I give permission to take Respondents Monitor Lockdown Browser exam. Right? And you won't need that unless you ask permission to take that exam on Respondents. Okay, any questions about the lecture course?